Hey guys. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about right out of the gate with this episode is that because of the break, Toei kind of came back swinging with this episode. Like, I think right out of the gate, I think one area that could have been better with this episode is that our artwork in itself could have been better, but things like animation, music, just the overall like structure of this episode was just honestly amazing. Um, and the one thing I've always found interesting though when it comes to scenarios like this and episodes like this is how even just needing to wait a week like we had for this episode, it kind of enhanced the viewing experience as a whole for me. I mean, I suppose we could discuss. I suppose we could discuss any usual pacing failings with the episode, although even that felt like a step up and was better than most episodes. So it's like it's one of those things for me where I guess what I'm ultimately saying here is that while I know it probably will never happen. This is an episode that kind of proves to me at least that as far as the anime is concerned, I I truly believe that for One Piece that probably One Piece could definitely benefit from from a change in its schedule of being produced bi-weekly over weekly, because just the fact that this episode was delayed a week, it kind of almost it almost made the through that break, it made the episode more enjoyable. And and the thing is, while it isn't always a guarantee that it's going to be like a visual spectacle or generally a great episode every time, even on a bi-weekly schedule, I think just having to wait that extra week, it does make the anticipation of going into a new episode and the overall enjoyment that extra little bit more fulfilling. Like that's kind of the best way I can describe this episode, is that this episode was just kind of just a pretty much just a fun experience just from having to just wait that extra week, I guess. Then again, I think a lot of this could just be from the reviewer's perspective I'm seeing this from. I don't know how other how just like the casual viewer is feeling, like those that don't review the anime, all that shit. But yeah, honestly, from my perspective, I genuinely just believe that One Piece just could benefit from just more of a bi-weekly schedule, honestly. Um, that aside, though, one thing I liked about the episode itself is how, even though we only did get the stuff with Kaido in the beginning and the end of the episode, we once again got more reinforcement about just how much just how just Kaido's perspective, and how in some ways, even though he's putting on like a very strong front of it and saying I've already, and saying all the shit he did to the Yakuza 9 about saying pirates will betray you. I've already defeated Luffy once. Do you honestly think that it won't happen again? He and the Strats will betray you. Um, and once and in that way, you can kind of see a little bit of the bluster, honestly. Like Kaido's hiding in a lot of ways. Like what Kaido said to them at the end of this episode is him just kind of like hiding what he really feels, which is that for one reason or another, to him, his worst nightmare has come true. I mean, as the viewers, we know that it will be Luffy who delivers the finishing blow on Kaido himself, but Odin Odin was basically the first one who's ever made Kaido experience fear, and as well as that make him experience that very feeling of vulnerability, of just not feeling as invincible as he should be. So for however small it is to experience that feeling again through the Akazeya 9, it does frighten Kaido, which I think, again, it also goes a long way towards further showcasing one of Kaido's biggest flaws as well, which is that while by all measures he is powerful and does have a powerful crew, again, you can see that a lot of that is also in service of just putting on a bit of bluster and just wanting to be. He wants to, even though he is powerful, he still wants to be perceived as such. but by pretty much everyone, and wants everyone to fear him. And in doing so, he refuses to show or accept any weakness even he himself might have. Like you see again, you see a lot of what he does is kind of bluster in order to hide his own faults. And it also comes across that the reason he does this is for the purpose that Kaido feels he cannot afford to acknowledge his own weakness, or show his own weakness, because he almost seems to feel like his crew and his his crew and his officers and all that will betray him. Will betray him if he does end up showing any sort of weakness. Now, so yeah, it's kind of an interesting look into just Kaido's psychology of the whole situation. Now we also get to see Yamato face off against Ulti, and yeah, you can tell Toei dedicated a lot of time to making sure the animation was basically great in a lot of the fight sequences. But it's funny, when reading the manga, I wasn't a fan of the fights Yamato was involved in. All the fights that were leading up to the Yamato got involved in, leading up to the big fight between her and Kaido. But as they honestly, all the fights that Yamato got involved in leading up to her fight with Kaido kind of felt like stopgaps more than anything else. But in the anime, that's kind of less of a problem for me. And the bigger one for me is pretty much is basically Ulti in this situation. Like in the manga, it's weird. Again, it's kind of a reverse. In the manga, I didn't think much of Ulti, but she was just kind of there. But through I'm sure the person they got to voice Ulti is a great voice actor. But whoever they got to voice Ulti, Toei made sure to play up her as the most annoying character in Kaido's crew. And yeah, it's weird. I didn't think much of Yamato in the manga, but until the fight with Kaido. But then we got into the anime. I'm just not a fan of Ulti. So yeah, take that as you will. And honestly, I'm not sure which moment with the Straw Hats I like more in this episode. Whether it was seeing the continued dynamic between Jinbei and Robin, seeing Nami and Carrot break free with a dual lightning attack, followed by Nami being her usual sadistic self after recapturing Zeus, which, in the latter's case, I like moments where we see Nami's more confident side, but when we get the moment of her and Zeus, that to me is the most disturbing and creepy I've ever seen from Nami. Like, you can tell she absolutely fucking snapped and upon grabbing a hold of Zeus and looking him in the eye like, Zeus, I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad you're safe. I love you, Zeus. All that shit. Like, you can tell she absolutely snapped and is imagining 2,000 different scenarios in her head of how she can thoroughly and sadistically torment and re-educate Zeus to never attack her again. And just Carrot's whole misunderstanding of the situation makes it all the more hilarious, but just frightening, because it's like Nami is going to fucking make Zeus wish he was never created. Like, Zeus is going to learn never to cross Nami ever again after this. And it's creepy as fuck, but I kind of love it too. It's so weird. And yeah, just credit where it's due though. The anime, I think, even if the anime kind of drew out the scene more than was necessary, I think it just made me feel sorry for Zeus even more. That yeah, Nami, as Nami said once she finds something she considers a treasure, she will never let go of it. And Zeus, my man, you are fucked. With that said, the other one I want to talk about is the brief fight we get between Luffy and Big Mom, but specifically the moment where Big Mom tells Luffy she came all the way from Totoland to exact her revenge. And even though it's very quick, if you look at Luffy's reaction in the moment, you see him realize just how much of a tenuous situation this has already become just from previous actions before making it to Wano, but of like how his actions on Whole Cake Island are now directly affecting what's going on here on Wano. But of course, that's also followed in typical Luffy fashion by him basically declaring all-out war on everyone on Onigashima, which I love that just as much because it was kind of a dual declaration from the perspective of Luffy declaring it to Big Mom and the Yakuza 9 declaring it to Kaido, showing that, yeah, Luffy, like the Yakuza 9 might be there to, might be there to take Kaido's head, but ultimately it's going to be Luffy who's going to bring about the new era, a new era of peace for Wano. And now, granted, as a manga reader, I can tell you with assurance that Kaido's defeat in itself, it comes with its own complications, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and it's Crunchyroll. Be sure to hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of MMA, signing off. Later, everyone.